On the 1st of May, my son was scheduled for a bone marrow transplant, yet my wife went cycling up the mountain with her assistant. A week later, she returned home. Both her and the assistant were bruised and battered, as if it were the most natural thing. Johan got hurt while trying to save me. You'll take care of his needs, feeding, bathroom trips, everything. He can't get to the bathroom at night, so let him stay in the master bedroom. You can sleep in the study. I silently handed her the divorce papers and turned to leave, cradling my son's urn in my arms. Johan pretended to stop me, but my wife scoffed and said, in less than 3 hours, he'll come back crawling to apologize, begging me to donate bone marrow for our son, just like a dog. But in the end, it was her, kneeling and begging me to reconsider. When my mother-in-law arrived, I was slumped on a bench outside the hematology department. William, how's Henry's transplant surgery going? She was clearly worried. Mom, I suddenly dropped to my knees before her. Please, call Rena and get her to come back and donate bone marrow to Henry. Last night, Rena had suddenly announced she was going cycling with her assistant, asking me to reschedule Henry's surgery. I begged her desperately. Henry has already undergone marrow cleansing today and is waiting for surgery tomorrow. Can't you postpone your trip? Adjusting her helmet, Rena spoke indifferently. Marrow cleansing is nothing serious. But the doctor said. Doctors just like to exaggerate. She interrupted me, her tone impatient. Johan has planned this ride for 3 months. If we miss today, we'll have to wait until next year. Doing it on the 7th is fine. Henry will make it until then. I was frantic, gripping her hand tightly to stop her from leaving. Please, save Henry. Don't touch me. She recoiled, disgusted, and grabbed a baseball bat from the hallway. William, stop freaking out. Before I could react, a sharp pain exploded in my head. In my dazed state, I heard her footsteps as she left, followed by a cold, cutting remark. You're ruining my mood for cycling. Bad luck. When I opened my eyes again, the world outside was pitch black. I fought through the pain and called Rena, only to find I had been blocked. My mother-in-law's face turned pale as she heard me, and she immediately grabbed her phone to call Rena. The call connected, and I could hear Rena's breath on the other end. Mom, I'm cycling. If it's urgent, speak quickly. Rena, come to the hospital now. My mother-in-law was frantic, stamping her foot. Today is Henry's transplant day. Do you have any idea what you're doing? There was silence on the other end, followed by a mocking laugh. William complained to you, didn't he? Johan's birthday is today, and we're cycling 510 kilometers to celebrate. The donation can be pushed to the 7th. Anyway, we don't have until the 7th. I snatched the phone, shouting uncontrollably. Rena, the doctor just said Henry's hematopoietic function is completely destroyed. Without a stem cell donor, he won't make it past 48 hours. William, Rena suddenly raised her voice. What else can you do except shout? Henry is my son. Do you think I'd harm him? The last checkup showed his condition was stable. By the 7th, there won't be any problems. President Sterling, help. Johan's exaggerated wail suddenly interrupted, followed by a thud as something heavy hit the ground. How careless of you. Rena's tone immediately softened. The call ended abruptly. My knuckles turned white from gripping the phone. I looked up at the isolation ward. Henry's tiny body was almost entirely hidden beneath a tangle of tubes and wires. His face, under the oxygen mask, was so pale it was nearly translucent. Sensing my gaze, he lifted his little hand with great effort and formed a heart shape with his fingers. His lips moved slightly, and the oxygen mask trembled softly with each breath. I knew what he was asking. My chest clenched as if an invisible hand had grabbed my heart and was crushing it. Mommy's on her way. I forced a smile, my voice trembling. You have to be strong. Wait for her, okay? Beep 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 beep. A sharp alarm pierced the air. Henry's face suddenly turned a frightening shade of purple, and his frail body convulsed violently on the bed. Doctors and nurses surged into the room like a wave. Through the chaos, I saw Henry's small hand fall limp. Time of death, 3:47 p.m. The attending doctor removed his stethoscope and pulled the white sheet over Henry's face. At that instant, the entire world fell silent. My mother-in-law's wails, the buzzing of machines, the voices of medical staff, all of it faded into an unbearable, deathly silence. It felt like a dull knife had carved out a piece of my heart, but the pain was so deep, I couldn't even cry out. I didn't know how long I sat there before I finally came back to my senses. Numbly, I opened Instagram to message Rena, but her latest post popped up first. The wind of freedom, the dream of cycling. Today's 510 kilometers with Johan, what a beautiful memory. Life isn't just about the struggles in front of us, but poetry and the distant horizon. Attached was a selfie of her on a mountaintop, with Johan flashing a peace sign in the background. Scrolling down, there were more photos, her tending to Johan's wounds by a stream. The two of them shared a bottle of water. A silhouette of them watching the sunrise, fingers interlocked. The latest comment was from Johan. Next time, let's challenge 1,314 kilometers? Rena had replied with a shy emoji and 3 kissy faces. My hand trembled as I opened the chat box. I typed, deleted, typed again, then finally sent just 3 words. Henry is gone. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Finally, the screen lit up with a reply. Don't use something like this to mess with me. I don't want anything ruining my vacation with Johan. Seeing her message, I vomited a mouthful of blood. My mother-in-law screamed in horror. As darkness closed in, I clenched my teeth and forced out my last words before collapsing. Mom, I'm divorcing Rena. When I woke again, 3 days had passed. As soon as I opened my eyes, I stumbled toward pediatrics. Henry, Daddy's here. My mother-in-law quickly stopped me. William, I've already arranged for Henry's body to be kept in the morgue. I'll take you there in a bit. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, she looked at me with deep guilt. William, it's our fault for raising Rena this way. If you want a divorce, I understand. My gaze fell on her hair, once black, now streaked with white. A sharp pang struck my heart. 20 years ago, after my parents died in the line of duty, it was her who took me in and raised me as her own. I still remember the early days at Sterling household. When nightmares kept me awake at night, she would cradle me gently, whispering comfort until I fell asleep. The day I got into Stanford University, she smiled with more pride than anyone else. Over the years, I treated her and her husband like my own parents. That was why I had tolerated Rena's selfishness over again. When she had a bad day at work, she'd take it out on me and I silently endured it. When she missed Henry's birthday because she went shopping, I swallowed my resentment and said nothing. Even when things between Rena and Johan became suspiciously intimate, I still chose to trust her, hoping she would eventually come back to her senses. But this time, she crossed a line I can never forgive. She chose a cycling trip with Johan over our own son's life. Mom, I said quietly, gripping her trembling hand. This time, I really, truly can't forgive her anymore. It took me 4 days to finalize my resignation. After that, I packed up everything into a single suitcase. Holding Henry's urn in my arms, I took one last look around the villa. Just as I was about to leave, the front door swung open. Rena walked in with her arm looped around Johan's. She glanced at the suitcase by my feet and frowned. Going on a business trip? Who's going to take care of Henry then? She said it so casually, with not a shred of concern in her eyes. She didn't even notice the white mourning banner hanging above the door. Oh right, Johan got injured saving me. Cancel your trip and stay to take care of him. When I didn't respond, she added matter-of-factly, let him have the master bedroom. You can sleep in the study. I shot her a cold look, grabbed my suitcase, and walked toward the door. Seeing this, Johan immediately put on his usual act. Mr. Jensen, if it bothers you that much, I'll leave. Don't mind him. Rena cut him off, yanking him back by the arm and giving me a contemptuous glance. Give it 3 hours. He'll come crawling back to apologize and beg me like a dog to donate bone marrow for our son. Her words sliced through me like knives, ripping open wounds that had barely begun to heal. I clutched Henry's urn tighter and kept walking. William, stop right there, Rena suddenly shouted. Leave behind your parents' medals of honor. Johan's younger brother needs them for something. I turned slowly, my eyes like ice. No, those are honors my parents earned with their lives. Rena scoffed, completely unfazed. Then name your price. 20 years of companionship, 7 years of marriage. And in the end, she couldn't spare me even a sliver of respect. You're unbelievable. I instinctively shielded the backpack behind me. Asking for them is an insult to my parents. Johan suddenly stepped forward and reached out to snatch my backpack. I quickly dodged and shouted, what do you think you're doing? But he didn't back down. He just gave me that same fake smile. Mr. Jensen, don't make things difficult. It's just a small favor. Fury exploded in my chest. I shoved him hard. He staggered and fell, clutching his knee and howling in pain. Ow, my knee, that hurts. Johan, are you okay? Rena rushed to his side, flustered and worried. She started shouting for help and calling for a doctor, making such a scene that it drew my mother-in-law from her foredrip. With a deep frown, she scolded, Rena, what are you yelling about now? Taking advantage of the chaos, I turned and tried to leave with Henry's urn. But Rena wasn't done. Like a madwoman, she chased after me and yanked open my backpack, digging frantically through it. She quickly found the medals. I immediately set down the urn and lunged to grab them back. For the first time ever, I defied her. She stared at me, her expression a mix of shock and rage, as if she couldn't believe I would actually resist. Didn't you say you'd give me anything I wanted? Now you're taking it back? She demanded. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. After all this, she still had the audacity to ask me for more. These belong to my parents. No one has the right to take them. Rena choked on her words, stunned into silence.